South Africa. Setshenziswa networks. You can't contravene them.
Ayisebenzi lento leyo. Manje ucishe kanjani mase? Ah, uzopawuphila ngayo u10. Ngoba u10 nje. Ngithola izifa.
Okay. Yehlani ize la kuthini. Khumani ngala. Mamelani, khumani ngala. Come this side. Khumani madod, come this side. Upu driver wale truck. Wale. Woga la buya. Buya. They are going to Malawi. So when I transporting people to Malawi. No. How do you do that? How do you do that? Come. Where's your passport? They are good at running.
Yeah, hey, they run this one.
Stand here.
Hey,
Stand here.
huh? This one's good. They can run this one.
No, I can't. Where are you from? Malawi? Huh? Malawi is not going home. Whenever you are hiding, where? Go there.
Hey, be careful, Mlu. Mlu, be careful. Hi, Bu. Kan bang. Hey, these people can run.
There's two more coming.
Hey, yeah, this one there. We are.
Guys, let's come. Ingane ayikho ingubo.
Yana. Let's follow the blanket. Campus on here. Ngoba ngithawu ngingane ngene.
Hayi ayibona wami.
Kena.
Found that in these two trucks, there are about 9 people inside one of the trucks, and in the other one there were 8 people inside the truck. So, which was very abnormal. And then we had to come and see what is happening. What we have found is that there are women and children, young women, young children, and also men who are being transported by these two trucks. What we have picked up is that this is literally typical of human trafficking. It has all the elements of human trafficking, because nobody is allowed to transport people who are illegal in the country, because all of them are undocumented. And when we ask them where they are coming from, they can't tell us where they are coming from, where they are going. They can't even speak proper English or any of the languages that you would expect some of them to speak in South Africa. So it's really concerning what we are seeing, but we are very happy that we've managed to pick this one up, and we are stopping the worst thing that was going to happen. The driver that has been arrested was trying to run away from the police, and luckily our police were very agile. They managed to stop him, and you've seen what happened. So this is really concerning. What is going to happen is that we are going to take them to the police station. Immigration is going to process them. We are going to take them back to Durban to follow the proper process of deportation, and then that's what is going to happen from now on.
Wait for us. Oh, okay. Ababe khona baphasisa ngale ngaphambili ngoba balala zobaleka.
Ah.
Ayisebenzi lento leyo. Manje ucishe kanjani mase? Uzofawuphila ngayo u-10. Ngoba u-10 nje iyacisha.
Ayigcwale ke kwajam lelo
South Africa, you can't contravene the conditions of your visa. You must go on the vacation, not on a work.
Again.
Oh, Malawi.
How old are you? 18. Where are your documents? What documents are you using? What documents are you using? No? What are you using?
To the Department of Employment and Labour, SAPS and Home Affairs to do an operation here in Tabanshu to look at the level of compliance with the labour laws and the immigration laws. We started with an employer who's manufacturing ports, and we had to go and look at the work that is being done there. And what we found there is that there is a serious non-compliance levels that we found at that employer. The workers don't have PPE, the workers are underpaid. And then we came here in town, as you can see. We came here in town to make sure that we deal with the issues of illegal immigration. A number of Pakistanis, a number of Somalians and Ethiopians that are working in own shops here, a number of them are not documented. Workers that they've employed are underpaid. We have seen a shop on the other side that is paying workers about 400 rands a week, which is 1,600 a month. That is way below minimum wage. So there is high level of non-compliance with our labor laws here in Tabanshu, and we are going to continue. As we can see, we've got a huge number of police, we've got a number of immigration officers and inspectors from the Department of Employment and Labour. It's been a very successful operation. We are continuing as we see. Which next door? So they run away. It's going to be continuous. We are going to be everywhere. We are going to be working every day in different places. Obviously, we can't be here literally every day. But today we might be here, tomorrow or somewhere else. When we come back here, we are at work every day. The President has made sure that he gives us a mandate. He has given us the line of march of what needs to be done. And as deployees and people who have been appointed by the President and the departments that we are leading, ours is to do what has been said to us, is to make sure that enforcement of the laws of the Republic is at the highest level, and we deal with the issue of illegal immigration, while on the other hand, we don't allow people to take the law into their own hands. That will mean, as the state, we do enforcement every day. Sorry. Can we lower our voice? Guys. Can we have attention here? Guys at the back. Can we all listen? Let's not all make noise. Give us space. No. These guys, they are fine. Guys, can you just go? Can you switch off? Guys, can you just have your attention? Maybe let's wait for these guys who are coming. Because also it's important to address you and make you understand why you are here and what is happening. So that you are able to work together.
Okay.
My name is Jomo Sidia, who's the Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour in South Africa. We are here in your company with the Department of Home Affairs, with South African Police Service, which is SAPS, with the Tshwane Metro Police, and the ones who are part of the work that we do of enforcement in the country. We are coming with all these departments to this company because we have an interest to check the level of compliance of this company with our labor laws and our immigration laws in the country. So we came with, in fact, it's an unannounced visit. We came without noticing that you are coming because we are allowed to do that. We are going to ask for your cooperation so that we work together. We are going to start by checking. Our teams are already out there in the offices and everywhere. We are going to start by checking your conditions of employment. How are you employed? Please give me space. You don't even have to say, I'm fine with that. The smile is enough. When you smile, I'm happy. So we are going to check how you are employed. In fact, we are going to check a number of our labor laws, starting with Basic Condition of Employment Act. We are going to check quite a number of things. I'm going to be simple so that you understand. We are going to check whether you do get leaves, you do get paid overtimes, you do get paid your Sundays. Are you paid what you are supposed to be paid? Are you getting pay slips? Do you have contracts? Are you working in conditions that are proper? In fact, we are going to check Occupational Health and Safety Act, whether you are working in conditions that are desirable, whether you are not subjected to work in conditions that you are not supposed to be working under, whether you are given PPE, do you have uniform, all of you? All of those things we are going to check. No, I said let us not do that, remember. Let us have discipline. I can see where we are disciplined. And then we are going to go further and check whether you are registered with UIF, because if you are not registered with UIF, which is blue card, ordinarily we call it blue card, if it happens that you lose your job here, it will mean that we won't be able to pay you while you are still looking for another job. It's compulsory that employers contribute to UIF. They take 1% from you and they contribute another percent, which makes it easy for you when you are losing your job or you are no longer working. You are able to get some money that will pay you for some months while you are looking for another job. Going to check whether they are contributing on one of our funds, which is called Compensation Fund. Compensation Fund is very important. Compensation Fund is where employers must contribute as well, where in any situation where you get to be injured at work, maybe you lose your limb, you lose your fingers, or whatever injury that you might have at work, the department is able to contribute in your medical bills. We're able to make sure that maybe if you need rehabilitation, we take care of that. Even if it happens that you die at work, then we're able to assist your family during your burial. But beyond that, even if you've got kids, we're able to take care of your kids. I know some of you don't know this. We're able even to take care of your kids who are at school. We educate them from whatever grade they are at up until the university level. I'm not talking about NSFAS. I'm talking about the compensation fund that the employer must contribute or at your interest, so that we are able to protect you. It's our social security net that we have at the department. Even if it happens you die and there are people that you are taking care of in your family who are not working, even if they are 18 or they are 25 in terms of age or 30, if you are taking care of them, we can take care of them until they reach the pension age, while we make sure that they are able to live. We are able to make sure that there is money that they get every month. So compensation fund is very important. It's something that you deserve. It's something that your employer must make sure that they contribute to it. It's not a by the way, it's the law in our republic.